Hey, Decathlon Gamer, welcome back to FM23 Youth Factory. This is episode 45. We're at home against Horsham, who are a tier below us. This is the FA Trophy's last cup tournament that we are still in. We're already getting into the later stages of it. So, fortunate draw, because normally we wouldn't have a team below us by this point in the tournament. But we're a team that's struggling at the moment. We've had defensively, we've been fine. We hardly get scored on. But despite dominating possession, despite dominating chances, despite dominating the XG, we're a side that just can't hardly find the back of the net recently. And we've just suffered another goalless draw in which we saw nearly 70% of the ball and nearly all of the shot attempts and more than enough shot attempts to get goals, and yet finished goalless yet again. Today, I'm putting myself at a little bit of a risk in that we've had a busy calendar. We've had 2 matches a week for quite a while on a regular basis here, and so I've gone for some squad changeover. Davidson gets the start today. We have that one nearly crossed the line. Kasungo Batumbo gets the start today. Kamara gets the start today. And it's halftime. 6 attempts to 2. 61% possession despite the changeover. But no one doing particularly well except for Hassel has a 7.0 rating. All 11 motivated though, despite the fact that we have had a very quiet half. What can we do in the second? Samahoro, Davidson. By the way, it's mid-January now, and the offers are starting to flow in for a wide number of players. There's a good 4 or 5 players that are getting almost daily offers, so there absolutely is risk of players exiting here before the end of the month. Sumahoro, Berchielli, we have Wilkinson getting regular offers. There's got to be a couple more. Not thinking of who off the top of my head at the moment, but nice pass there. Davidson cuts inside. Nothing doing on that one. 76th minute. Let's go attacking. Atkins, nice interception. Thornhill. Davidson, he's going to get a chance. Point blank range, and he's got it. He has got it. Let's go balanced. Finally, a goal. Davidson just beats his man. His man got a piece of it, like his heel hit it, but it bounced up. Davidson played it off the chest, got it under control, got the attempt on frame, beats the keeper, and we lead. But you can see just how much we are struggling to find simple things. There's hardly been a highlight here. Davidson. Mortland. Now Atkins. That's blocked. Easy grab for the keeper. Sumahoro's having a terrible day. Let's go ahead and bring on Arthur. Adekunle, is he getting offers? Is he one of the other ones? Mortland deflected off Thornhill. That was a real chance wasted. Through for Davidson. Chance to finish the game off in stoppage and fails to get that one on target. Webb, Mortland, and that's the thing. Like, we're putting together the chances. We just are not finishing particularly well. We squeak out a 1-0 victory in a game that hardly had a highlight in it, but it was 14-5 on the attempts. It was 65% possession, and the XG was extremely in our favor, 0.3 to our 1.4. We should have probably been able to get more shots on target, which would have meant a better XG. We should have had a couple goals in that. We should have won comfortably 2-0, and yet it took almost the entire game to score 1. Still only halfway into the month. We've only progressed about 2 days, and we do have our first confirmed exit from the club. We do have the loan back for the rest of the season and a 50% profit of next sale. So we've got those regular guarantees, but with a value of just $14K, we've been able to negotiate quite a bit more than that. It's Huddersfield and it's Hamed Sumahoro, who's been absolutely awful since December. Why has he been awful? Why has our form been awful? Well, it's mostly been down to him. And it's been because we turned down an offer for him. The team has essentially lost its primary goal scorer. His average rating of late has been a 6.5. He's squeaked out a goal here and there. He's had so many chances, but he's just not putting in the effort. So this is actually going to make him happy. He's going to have his promised exit, and this should have him playing better. It's almost a good thing for us. It's almost a good thing for us. It's certainly a good thing if we find a way to get promoted. We're going to lose him. Paul Davidson is the next in line. Losing him sucks, certainly. He's a 99 current ability. But this is hopefully going to get him happy, and we'll instantly see a rise in his performance once again. It's deadline day, or at least I think it is. It's 31st of January, 9 a.m. Of course, we don't follow the same calendar as the leagues above us, and year by year things vary a little bit, but it's a Wednesday, so I would presume that today should be the deadline day. Just morning, just 9 a.m., so there's still time left in the day. But the deal for Sumahoro still isn't complete. Now, the main reason for that is who he has been able to negotiate has been in constant flux, because I ended up creating a bidding war and progressively canceling the offers that were, for a lesser value. So where we started at roughly 35K has now progressed to $750,000 and even to $1 million plus. The latest offer from QPR was non-negotiable. It had a potential value of 1.3 million, so it was in excess of the other two. But as a non-negotiable deal, it didn't have the other requirements of the loan back or the 50% either sale or profit of sale. Didn't have an arranged friendly where we could, cash in on some bigger finances. And so I went ahead and turned that one down. I've had to turn down a couple from Reading for the same reason. They don't want the loan back. But for everybody else, as I've pushed things higher and higher, I've only actually had a little bit of pushback, and in essence, we're at $1 million right now from Bournemouth, or $750,000 from Stoke. I'm leaving that one on the table, even though it is a bit less, just so he has a couple options to choose from. I'd like to get another offer at roughly $1 million or better to remove the Stoke one. We'll see if something happens here during the day, but it looks like we're about to cash in a pretty good way. In regards to Sumahoro, and that's straight up. That is just instant cash offer from those two clubs. The other two players that clubs have been actively pursuing the last week or so, Sam Julian to a much smaller extent and nowhere near what his value is. So 16-year-old Sam Julian is not in danger, but Berchielli is. I've kind of modified, now that we're in a certain state and have a certain value and have so much money in the bank, I have modified, for the sake of realism and for the sake of still having at least a sense of progression, the minimum security rules. I'm still following the minimum security, but in a slightly modified sense that we have money. If a player's value is seen at 10K and somebody offers me 12 in potential down the road, that's not going to help the club, especially if it's a key player. Now, $750,000, $1 million, 100,000 plus, sure. That puts money in the bank for the club, and that still makes sense. It's going to take something in a bit more excess. So not medium security, but definitely something a little above the minimum security that we've been at for the series so far. Berchielli has exceeded, but not in a literal sense. His value was 20K. a couple weeks ago, and I've never had a value over 20K. I've had values that had 12K and 10K in future deals if certain requirements are met, and then none of the perks. And so then you come back a day later, and now his value is 25K. And then I'd get a value for 15K up front, but 15 in futures, and then the next day his value was at 30K. His value's pushed up to 60K now. I can see us setting some sort of minimum standard of kind of one of two things. One, straight up cash offer exceeding their value. That's actual excess of their value. Not some, you might get it in 4 years, if certain requirements are met and we're 1 tier above you, and you're going to pass us up in 2 years before he ever even meets those requirements. But, you sold the player to us, right? That kind of garbage. That's not realistic. We're a team on the rise, and why would we, with millions of dollars in the bank, settle for something like that? So it's just narratively, it doesn't make sense. So that's why I've opted to just tweak the rules regarding the minimum security a little bit. But if his value is 60K and somebody's going to straight up offer me 80K, I'll have to take it. I'll have to accept that and then hope that we get into a bidding war. But of course, there's the negotiation phase of getting the loan back, getting the 50% of a future deal. Those are necessities that I'm putting onto these deals. So if they don't agree to that stipulation, and I will, negotiate up higher than what they're asking, like if they don't want the player that bad, then I don't want to sell the player that bad. If they barely want to push, 1% over valuation, then it ain't worth it. And there you have it. It does appear to be deadline day because we've only pushed forward a couple of hours. And here we are with Sumihoro transfer deal for $1 million to Bournemouth. Bournemouth currently in the Championship. They are not in the Premier League right now. They are in the Championship. $1 million. Straight up $1 million. Also, straight up percentage of next sale, 50%. Not profit, so we don't have to subtract that million out of it. It's straight up for the next deal. They know they're going to get more than $1 million from turning around and selling 18-year-old Sumihoro. Loan back till the end of the season, so he will be gone at the end of the year. We also have an arranged friendly with Bournemouth. I don't know what stadium we're going to be in at the beginning of next season, what our capacity is going to be like, but if we have a 3,500 or 4,000, we should be able to get about 4,000 to come see a game against Bournemouth, and that's going to be a nice little payday for us there as well. Sumihoro has been still playing upset. He wasn't happy because the deal was not complete. So we just played through the last couple weeks. I'm going to go ahead and update you on what's happened over the last couple weeks as our next piece of business. With the deal complete, now Sumihoro is no longer unhappy. We can reinsert him right at striker. His last 5 games, which improved to a 6.8 after scoring on the previous one, and now a current ability of just over 100. He and Kitching both were 99 when I checked a couple weeks ago, so they've both made some progress to make it 4 players over 100. Still deadline day, still 6:30. Berchielli still getting offers, but with the updated minimum security, none of them have been full on in excess. So for now, we hang on to him, but it looks like we're probably going to lose him, I'd say, this summer. But that's okay, because we have a good young goalkeeper behind him who could take over. He's definitely got the most potential on the team, so I can see why he's going to be the next player to leave us. He's been pretty good so far this season, too. 7.17 rating. That's high for a goalkeeper. We haven't had anything like that in all these years. Goalkeepers never tend to have terribly high ratings. They have to be really good at what they do to start picking up quality ratings. He's almost better than Lanahan Penreath now, but Lanahan Penreath has been injured for 2 months or something like that, or a month plus, and has just returned to training a couple days ago. Has not played yet. So Mahoro's new value already $18.5 million. So them turning a profit, even sharing 50% of it, 50% of it with us is not going to be an issue. But only 30 goals in 66 appearances for somebody that I've been playing at that forward position. I have a feeling he's going to spend more time as a winger going forward, but we had a need on top, and he's been filling that need. And he's really only just grown in and was playing very well to start this season until we hit that December moment, and those offers started to come in, and he was suddenly upset for an offer for $500 to a team one division above us, and he was upset just like that. And then it's been ongoing now for 2 months that he's been in a slump because he's been mad about not being sold. That's now taken care of. We can hope and expect that he's going to be back to performing well for the remainder of the season and help us climb the ladder. But before we do that, 3, including this one, of the last 5 deals have all been to Bournemouth. So let's just check in on Bournemouth themselves, because suddenly we are a pipeline team for them. Predicted to finish 4th in the championship this year, but currently 16th. Things not going particularly well for them. I don't want to see this part. How about before? You might have already looked somewhere else. I have not. Let's just go with some general info here. Okay, I did not see him. I see his value is currently at 29 million. But here is Quintafera. Quintafera looking pretty dang good these days. Of course, 5 stars for our standard. But a 16 marking now, pretty good heading and tackling, very good mentals, and those physicals have rounded out pretty well. He's starting to look like a solid option. But looking back, right, 105 appearances with us, 2 goals. Luton Town last season? Yes. Last season on loan at Luton Town, where he made 37 appearances. He has yet to make an appearance for Bournemouth, though, which is odd because our scouting report on him, other than potentially Premier League standard player that he will eventually become, he is seen as a leading Sky Bet Championship player. What do they have that is keeping him on the bench? Right now, his agreed upon playtime is as a breakthrough prospect, so really weird that he has not made that breakthrough yet. Really, really weird. I mean, he's one of the highest value guys on the roster. Not the highest, certainly, but among the first 11 in terms of value. But he's not in your matchday squad choices at all. Your center backs, one of them certainly has more value than him. The other one does not. A little surprising that he's getting selected above him. Birch, Lloyd Kelly. And then as for their right back position, Witry, as he technically plays both. Of course, I would certainly play him as a center back before all else. On that breakthrough prospect, and still just 20, I have a feeling that if he doesn't get that breakthrough before the end of the season, that either A, he's going to be gone, or B, he's going to have a new contract negotiated for the coming year that is going to see him be a squad member and or better. And, you let a Lloyd Kelly go, or you let a Birch go, or you just replace Birch with him. The Croatian just does not look to be the same player. Is he the same player even now? Without scouting, we don't know just what he's going to be like, but certainly significantly less value. That doesn't necessarily mean he's less quality, though. Really doesn't. He is still playing to stay fit. 11 appearances, obviously, with the reserves. 1 assist there. 1 player of the match. Just a 6.86 rating, so he's not necessarily making a big name for himself at the moment. Also seen as a breakthrough prospect, we have Tom Fish. as that third player, including Sumohoro, who was still with us on loan for the remainder of the season. Tom Fish, center mid, is what he's playing for the under 21s. 26 million is his current value. Both of those guys are a good 6-7 million above what the value was when they left the team. A lot of flair for Tom Fish, but still needs a lot of work. He's still rough around the edges. For him, he made 58 appearances before then coming back on loan for us for 12 remaining ones. He was a February transfer. Deal went through after January somehow, but I think it was like February 1st. I think it might have been one of those Mondays. Monday was February 1st, and so that's when it went through. But anyway, yet to make an appearance for Bournemouth. He, even more so than Quintafera, as he is definitely assigned to the U21s. 18 starts, 10 appearances off the bench, just 1 goal, just a 6.67 rating. But unlike Quintafera, he looks like he's got quite a ways to go yet before he's going to be ready. Right now, good Vanarama South. This is Tom Fish, who left us 2 years ago. When he left us, his current ability was just a 74. He is the lowest current ability player that I've ever had leave the team through transfer. That is out of a total of 12 players who have left. Now, his reasoning for leaving early is twofold. One, he's got high potential ability, 157. Certainly not the highest, but he's up there amongst the highest. But the big thing was the offer. Bournemouth came in with some big-time cash. Till today, with our $1 million deal to Bournemouth, yet again, that deal 2 years ago was the biggest transfer we have received. It was $125,000 up front. It eventually became $275K, or could have eventually been $275K. I'm guessing we have not cashed in on that as of right now. Yeah, looking at this one, we're still due $50K after 10 league appearances. We're due $10K per game for the next 10 appearances. There's a lot of the money right there. Our board has negotiated a potential buyout fee for the clause that we have on him, the 50% profit. We could cash in $8.4 million. That's a lot. That is absolutely a lot. And part of me is tempted. Oh gosh, we're still owed another 2 installments of $32K each, by the way. So there's definitely some money still to come in from Tom Fish. By the way, we still have clauses of some sort on 9 players. 9 out of the 12. And it looks like we could sell the clause on 4 of them. At this moment, our balance is $12.6 million. Still pending something regarding the stadium. There's nothing I can do other than decrease youth level or improve training facilities, which I'm very tempted to do that. But I'm waiting on what's happening in regards to the stadium. Which, of course, comes down to this, right? We have a minimum stadium capacity of 3,000, minimum seated 250. And just a reminder, our stadium was a 1,000 seat, all seated stadium. We just went through an upgrade to that stadium last year, and we're out of the stadium for the entirety of the year as a result, except for the final match of the season, the regular season. The playoffs we didn't get to play in our stadium. We added 500 seats, so we added 50%, but 1,500 is half of what we need at this level. We need 3,000 plus. Bicklin Park in Falmouth, which is well over an hour away, we've been renting it for $31,000. That part's cheap. 3,500 seats, only 500 seated, but it meets the requirements. And it's the nearest stadium that meets the requirements for us. Or at least the nearest one we could get our hands on anyway. But with the inability to do something with the stadium, what's it related to? Is it because we're not in the stadium right now, and so we can't request something about that stadium because we can't request something about this stadium, Bicklin Park, because it's not our stadium? Or is it because the board has been planning something for, 5 months now, and we're just waiting to hear what those plans are? Well, I'm hoping it's the later and not the former. The former, Bicklin Park not being ours, shouldn't, though I could see how it could, ruin the mechanic of me being able to request an expansion to our stadium that we own, that we have the rights to, that I would love to get us back into. But hopefully it's the later, and that there is something being planned, because expansion-wise, I think it had the ability to expand to 6K, maybe 10K. I think it was 6K, though. Plenty of ability to expand it. But either way, it's going to require some money. And so having some money in the bank, 12 million seems like a lot. Seems along the lines of something we need to do to build a small stadium or expand our stadium. Something. For now, I'm still waiting. Still waiting. By the way, we're still waiting to finish deadline day. Let's see if we lose any more players. Berchielli, the one that there's definitely some interest in, and we might get one more round of offers. Speaking of one more round of offers, there is. Moments later. An hour later, we have a whole lot of them. Wigan, that's behind me. No good. West Brom, no good. Watford, no good. Anyone too low is just getting axed, but there's a couple. And here's the trigger one for me. Value of 60K. Straight up 63 with more. Peterborough is the one that's pushed us into having to negotiate this thing in good faith. There's the ones ahead. Not enough. The rest exceed it somehow or another. In the end, I've rejected half the deals, 6 of them, but I've accepted 6. I've negotiated six of them to anywhere from 40K up front to 110K up front, and from 150K eventually to 200K eventually, with all of them having the same 50% of profit, because that's what they were offering, friendly, and loan back till the end of the season. It was literally the lowest on the cards for the offers that were out there. But Berchielli, straight up fee of 80K, eventual fee can push to 150. He's negotiated and is happy with Middlesbrough. The good news is the 2 players that have been upset are no longer upset because deals are done. They were the ones that were mad. We, of course, went through our difficult stretch where we lost a lot more than we could or should have. Started back here with Barnet, Havant and Waterlooville at the start of October. October was a poor month for us. We picked up 5 points. After really, really struggling into November, we did go through a little run. 3 close wins, but against bottom feeder teams. 2 bottom feeder teams and a team below us in that FA Trophy match. And then we went right back into struggling with Gloucester, goalless, Wealdstone, goalless, Corinthian Casuals. We get one, but we gave one up. And then losing 3-1 to Yeovil, who are at the top of the standings, before finally getting a win against Workington and Worthing and Sudbury, to then go on and lose again to Bromley. Sure, we got 11 points in December, if you're counting cups, but there was a lot of games. We played 7 games in December, so 11 from 7, not the greatest of returns. 10 from 6, not the greatest of returns. It was better than October, for sure. January, we didn't lose. We did not lose. We took 13 points, again from 7 matches. But 11 from 7 to 13 from 7, definitely better. The goals issue, we had 3 straight goalless draws. If you include Bromley, we went 4 games without a goal. That Horsham game that we just played 10 minutes ago in terms of the video, where we squeaked out that late goal, that late winner, that was our first goal in 5 matches. That helped though. 1, we finally got healthy. Finally got healthy. We also had a little stretch here where it was Saturday before another Tuesday. That little stretch helped back off the match load a little bit, helped the players get a little stronger, a little healthier, and the only draw we've had in the last 4, we did manage to score, so there's that. But Connor Mortland, McFadden missed a penalty, by the way. Are you kidding me? Missed a penalty. Or had a goal disallowed. That would be a goal disallowed, right? Not a missed penalty? I don't know which. Either way, Connor Mortland sent off in the 6th minute. In the 6th minute. Otherwise, we would have won that one. We still dominated the game. Not in the sense that you would in other occasions. But we still had a little bit more than half the possession. We still had more than half the chances. And we still had a higher XG. Wasn't a great performance. It was a tough one. McFadden obviously had a terrible day. That was, Mortland. His day was even worse, wasn't it? But we are finally starting to score some goals. And our 2 guys that have been upset because of lack of transfers have their transfers. They're no longer upset. But they're back with the club for the rest of the year. There's not going to be any more transfer drama. It's a good chance for the team to clean it up. Next up, we're in the round of 16 for the FA Trophy. Getting close to the end here. But for this 5th round, it's Sudbury at home. They're in our division. They're towards the bottom end of our division. In fact, let's go ahead and check with that one. They are 16th, 35 points. 9-8-13, minus 18. They're points-wise punching above their weight just a little bit. We're plus 18, 53 points. And at home, should be heavy favorites. Even after this really difficult stretch where we either had lots of injuries and or suspensions, and then had, the drama surrounding Sumahoro from December on that just he wanted to leave the club. Our problem started back in October. Started with injuries and suspensions. So it wasn't just because of Sumahoro. There was multiple factors. But scoring goals has been a real problem at a couple points this season. And one of those points did suddenly start when Sumahoro decided that he was ticked off that we didn't sell him to a 5th-tier team for absolutely nothing. 2K or whatever it was. But despite how bad things have been and how we're only 6th place and just 2 points above Bromley from the last playoff spot, here's the good news. 1, Hayes and Yeti, the 8th place team, the first team outside of the playoff zone, they're 9 points back and 7 goals back. They're not looking a threat. 2, Weymouth, same points. Gosport, 2 points up. Chelmsford, 3 points up. We are 1 win away from 3rd place. The issues that have plagued us are no more for now. As long as we don't incur much more drama. We shouldn't. Windows closed, right? Nobody should be coming in except for those 5th-tier guys. Oh my. Gonna cry if Lanahan Penreese gets, a $2,000 offer from the 5th tier and suddenly gets ticked off that we didn't accept it. But let's say that the drama is done. Let's say we could stay healthy. We should start scoring goals again. Couple a game. We're not going to take 3 points in every match. We're not that good. The competition is good enough that that's not going to happen. But are we capable of doing more than we're doing now? Oh, hell yeah. Only problem, Gloucester, 11 points up. Yeovil, 20 points up. They've only lost once all season. And we've played 30. There's 23 opponents. It's a 46 match season. There's only 16 to go. We're not going to make up a 20-point difference, which means automatic promotions out. What can still happen is we could easily climb to third and put ourselves in a favorable situation to at least host a semifinal and then neutral territory for a final against, potentially a Gloucester in form, with us continually improving at the end of the season. So there's some optimism. Things have not gone quite according to plan. 2 more players are heading out at the end of the season. More might be heading out next year. Now that we're in this noticeable zone, those League 2, League 1 championship sides are suddenly very much paying attention to our guys. So we had one little quiet year there. That's done. That's behind us. But right now we're poised to reach the playoff. Right now we've got every opportunity, if we can find that form and stay healthy the rest of the way, we've got every opportunity to win said playoff and get to the 5th tier. Doesn't matter how you do it, just matters that you do it. And two players that are essentially replaceable. We have a growing squad. We have a squad that's getting stronger and stronger. Could hopefully continue to make us competitive for the rest of this year, and like to see us get promoted and keep on climbing. And that 5th tier would be a transition over to FM24 at that point as we continue on. That's not too far away now. Not too far away. We're looking at maybe a week until it's ready to release. Less than a week till it's ready to release. Full version instead of the early access. So yeah, pretty quickly here. Another episode or so, actually. We might be transitioning this save over to FM24, which is exciting because that's a new feature. Never been able to do that before. I've been able to pick up where I left off with wholesale changes and some elements the same. I've taken a 10th tier team that's climbed to the 5th tier, and then I started the next year in the 5th tier with a team that didn't have any of the same players, but had the same amount of infrastructure. That was all. That was the only continuity it had. And then promoted to the 3rd tier, and then the next year started with a team in the 3rd tier. Comparable facilities and nothing more. It'll be nice to literally carry a save over, hoping that this one works. We're into those top tiers now, that it can work. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.